My engagement party was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, yet there I was, frozen in shock as a woman I'd never met before stormed into the room, her eyes locked onto me like a predator finally catching sight of its prey. She didn't need to say much, the truth was already spilling out of her trembling lips, each word an arrow aimed directly at my heart. "He's married," she spat, her voice quivering with a mix of rage and heartbreak, as the room fell silent. "My fiancé, no, my boyfriend," I corrected myself internally, stood beside me, his face a perfect mask of guilt and terror. I had been blissfully unaware, planning a future with a man who was already living a double life. The woman, his wife, was a force of nature, unraveling every lie he'd ever told me with brutal efficiency. Their wedding photos, their shared life, all thrust in front of me like a horrifying slideshow of betrayal. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, and yet, somewhere deep inside, a part of me admired her strength. She had discovered my existence and decided to confront us both in the most public way possible, forcing the truth into the cruel light of day. As the truth unfurled, I realized how expertly he'd played us both, weaving a web of deceit so intricate that we'd both become ensnared without even realizing it. His attempts to explain were pitiful, a mess of stammered excuses and pleas for understanding that fell on deaf ears. The guests, once our friends and family, were now spectators to this train wreck, their whispers a background hum to the chaos. I felt the weight of their judgment, but it paled in comparison to the internal storm raging within me, a mixture of anger, sadness, and a strange sense of liberation. When she finally left, the room was still buzzing with shock, but my mind was eerily calm. I realized that this betrayal, as painful as it was, had set me free from a life built on lies. The engagement ring felt heavy on my finger, a symbol of a love that never truly existed. I slipped it off, placing it on the table with a sense of finality. As I walked away from the remnants of my shattered engagement, I understood that the real betrayal would have been to continue living a life that wasn't truly mine. The twist of fate had brought me this moment of clarity, and I was ready to embrace whatever came next.